Hello, I'm Shannon Lewis, and here are my references. Arson by nature, a crime of complexity. The complex nature gives prosecutors a difficult task, and in doing so, gives the offender a few advantages. I, I will walk you through the aspects of arson that I believe will be necessary for your analysis of this case as a whole. Arson is defined as the willful and malicious burning of property. The crime of arson and its definition has changed slightly throughout history, which has allowed it to involve its conjunction with society and the law. Holding its origins in the 16th century England, arson was considered initially as the willful burning of another's dwelling house. This was to stress the importance of protection of housing. The limited scope of arson during this period was due largely to the home as well as the workplace of many at this point in history, making the devastation of arson much worse. In time, the definition of arson was expanded legally, which allowed it to include a wider collection of properties and cases. The threat of arson to property, human life, and public safety is where its criminalization arises. The intentional setting of fires can cause damage that's beyond catastrophic and damage. The imposition of strict penalties is important to send the message that crime against property and public safety are not accepted. There are certain elements that must be looked at when considering arson as a crime punishable by a just sentence. The act of starting the fire and damage that it caused. The origin of the fire must be intentional, not accidental. The person setting the fire must have the intent to damage or destroy the property. It must be remembered that this can be either deliberate intent or reckless disregard for safety. This can include intent to defraud, annoy, or injure another. The act of arson must be done willfully and maliciously. As a reminder, willful means with intent, and maliciously means done with a wrongful purpose. Due to the complexity of arson as a crime, the punishment can be just as complex. Arson in the first degree is a Class A felony and punishable up to 20 years in prison and significant fines. Arson in the second degree is a Class C felony and punishable up to 5 years in prison and significant fines. Reckless burning is a Class A misdemeanor and is punishable up to 1 year in jail and significant fines. Understanding the historic context of arson and the recognition it receives as a disastrous crime helps to maintain the stance and necessity of punishments that serves the greatest good of society as a whole. Thank you.